Everyone, it's Mikael. Today I'm going to show you how to do the propeller.
And so we had to trick ourselves into thinking that we were something. We had to trick ourselves into thinking that we exist. Listen very carefully. You don't exist in the way that you think you do. Reality is not what you think it is. If you try to explain existence, you must start with the void.
The propeller is not a trick on itself, but a concept that you probably already know is when you go off center and the staff go crazy and you lose control because it gets really fast. It's a dynamic of the staff that you don't play so much at the beginning because it's required to play more off center. And now I'm going to show you how to play and gain control around it. When we play with our staff and do contact, for example, we always try to have control, but not everything happens perfectly all the time. That's why trying to work around the place where we lose control and having fun around it, it's a way to master a bit more the connection with the staff. And also the propeller visually is interesting because you can add some extra spin to your play, and so it gives more more dynamism into your contact staff play. And you can spin all around your body with propeller without needing to grab the staff. For this video we work around 3 sections. First I will show you from a static position how to enter a propeller, then from spinning, then from contact staff move, and also show you some example on how you can implement the propeller into what you maybe already know. So for the first section, the static will be separated in 2 parts, vertical, then on the horizontal plane. Vertical is actually a bit easier to go in there because it's like we have less tendency to fly out in our face because it's just in front of us. And yeah, let's get started. As you can see here, we're gonna need to play really off center. When I start the movement, the center is here, I'm placing myself like almost like 30 centimeters off the center. And what you can do is to place your wrist there to start. That will be our first position. My other hand is holding the staff. And as soon as you let your hand go, you can see the staff falling. And this is great, so like this we don't need to bring extra motion. And what we will do is when the staff is falling, we will draw a circle with our hand. So we are following the staff falling with our hand. So my hand is going like this in a circle, and what's going to happen by doing so, we kind of automatically arrive back in the center. So from off center, we go back into the middle. This is also like the magic of the propeller move. So here, we're gonna start, for example, I'm on the left side with my right hand, okay? I let the staff fall, and I draw a big circle. Here we are starting a lot off center, but of course you can do also propeller. Closer to the center is just, the closer you are from the center, the more you need to be to do a big motion or to add extra force. And here I just want to offer you something that's easier to comprehend at the beginning. And here you see you can also just catch it, like that motion we already saw in the previous tutorial. Or you can even make a little toss. That is the first position, but now we can also do the same with the left hand. You see now is the left hand is on the left side, and we can do exactly the same motion. Now my right hand is holding it there, let it fall, do the same. So you see like from one side of the staff, you can use both hands. And so logically, I want you to practice with both of your hands on both sides of the staff. It means also here, right side, right hand, do the same. Right side, left hand, we do the same. A few little tips here to avoid things to go too crazy. As you are off center, like the synergy of the staff is going to be really strong. So just try to draw a circle slowly and to not lose contact with the staff while you're doing it. But try to not put extra force, because when you will arrive here, at that part, if you put too much extra power, you will see the result for yourself. It's gonna really propeller, but way too much than you want. You want to try to make this movement as smooth as possible. So really imagine almost like as a slow motion, because it will take power anyway. So if you don't put yourself too much extra energy, you will have more chance to control the movement. Look at the staff, because here is really a play of balance. So look where you are placing your hand towards the center. Try a bit different space, but try to be really off center, not too close here when you're playing with it, and keep an eye on it. You see, like even when it's moving, I keep my eyes on the center, and it will help me to balance the stuff here. If you already master a bit the trick and you want an extra challenge, what you can do, instead of trying to do it from the wrist or from the hand here, try from the forearm. That's a good challenge, and it's actually something might happen, especially if you go from fishtail or a different trick. And try to do the same. And it happens often that from the forearm, then the staff is going back to the wrist. So it's doubly go back to another center. And it's definitely more challenging, because doing a propeller with your hand is something, but with your forearm you kind of need to go further. And this is also something that will be really useful for the matrix later. Now that we saw how to go for the vertical propeller, let's work on the horizontal one. So now that we work on the horizontal plane, if I want you to see something, for obvious reason, I need to sit down. So I hope you can still see. The center is really in front of me, I will remember you that point. But the exercise is exactly the same that we did for vertical. So here, I'm holding with my right hand, and I'm going to do this propeller with my left one. So here now, instead of drawing a circle on the wall plane in front of us, we are drawing it on top of us. So you can just also do the movement to feel comfortable and tell to your body what to do here. But you really want to draw the circle. And remember that your other hand is really here to help. So I'm really holding here, then letting the stuff being drawn by the circle here. And like I said before, you can now also switch hand. And it's happened, and you will probably end up onto the palm spin. If you didn't have learned this one, go and check the tutorial about it, it's really essential also. And here you see, like, I can go hold, right hand, hold, left hand. And we can do also both directions. For the horizontal section, I will not repeat what I say in the vertical one, because it's actually exactly the same step of working with the right hand on both, right hand, left hand on both sides of the staff, and vice versa. It's also the same advice. Don't go too fast and try to keep an eye on the staff. Here I can also advise to sit on the ground, just because here you can be a bit more comfortable, keep an eye up, maybe stretch a bit your neck if you're not used to always look up like this. And I advise again, learn the palm spin here, because it can be really useful and they combine together really nicely. In this section, now we will care on how to include the propeller when we are spinning. And for that, there is an easy game, and we change from our habits. Normally, when we were spinning, I always tell you to keep this, your hand and claw on the center. Now we're gonna switch it. I want you to try now to do all the spinning motion that you know, but being off center. This really changes the feeling of it. And every time you are going in front here, there's a moment where you can actually start a propeller. And this motion which is happening is when I already showed you that in a different video, where I'm like doing a small movement where I'm bringing the stuff up on my point of contact and catch it back. This is like a really essential movement. You see, like I'm keeping my hand straight, parallel to the ground, bring it, take it back on the other side. And here we are doing exactly the same, but way more off center. And what will happen is then when I bring the stuff here, now I'm in the position for the propeller, which will bring an extra spin into it. Here I can offer you a simple drill. So I'm gonna, for example, start with a backward spin. Again, really off center, and I'm gonna start here by a propeller, catch it into a backward spin. Then I can also stop here and start again on a backward spin. You see, like I'm just putting myself in the situation of starting the propeller, then going back into my spinning. The next step here, obviously, is to do it with both of your hands, but also you can try while you are spinning, and here I'm centered, to let your hands slide. You see, now I'm off center, to actually do the propeller. And as you can see, there is time where the backward work and not. That's why also it's important to work on the frontward and the backward, but this is a little game and tips, so how to include it when you are spinning. If you are spinning always on the horizontal plane and doing the horizontal rotor, what you can simply do is when you're switching hands, grab the staff again on the really off center, then bring it into the same dynamic that we did on the vertical plane. The difference is that instead of arriving on your hand like this, it will be on your palm. That's why I advise to learn the palm spin here. So I can show you again. I'm doing the horizontal rotor. Here with my left hand I come, catch the off center, and I do the propeller till the staff come back in my hand. And I can also just start it from here to get comfortable with the idea. Now you might realize that the propeller is really a concept. It's like it's a dynamic with completely part of the staff spinning and contact, and you can add it in almost everywhere we already know something, any kind of tricks or entrance or exit. So for the next section, which is about contact, I will not explain every move because they will almost like sometimes require a video on itself, but I will just show you some example of contact move where you can include the propeller to maybe give you an inspiration to work on it, because after it's just to include the same dynamic we were doing here, but into a contact. And this is the end of this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed. We always welcome any kind of feedback, positive, negative. Let me know how the propeller is going for you, and see you in the next one.